This video is about the seamstress who's bullied but the rich CEO offered her a job. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. In a small town crisscrossed by cobblestone streets, there lived a seamstress named Clara. She was known for her extraordinary talent, crafting dresses that seemed to breathe life into fabric. Vibrant hues, intricate patterns, and delicate stitches flowed from her fingers, yet her heart carried the weight of loneliness. Clara worked in a quaint little shop at the end of Elm Street where the sound of a sewing machine provided a rhythm to her days. With each stitch, she poured her soul into every garment, hoping to bring joy to those who wore her creations. But her talents went unnoticed by many, overshadowed by the whispers of those who walked the streets in judgment. The children from the nearby school would gather outside her shop, peering in at the colorful fabrics. As Clara walked late into the evening, their laughter would turn into taunts. "The old seamstress, why doesn't she just give up?" one girl would say, and the others would cackle in agreement. The cruel words would cut deeper than any needle, and Clara would often spend her evenings in quiet tears, her heart aching for kindness she seldom received. Despite the bullying, Clara possessed an indomitable spirit. She would remind herself, "Every stitch is a story, I am weaving my own destiny." The warmth of her dreams pushed her forward, fueling her resilience. She envisioned a world where her creations would be celebrated, where people would admire not just the dresses but the love and care stitched into each piece. One sun-drenched afternoon, as Clara draped a shimmering fabric across her workspace, she felt a sense of anticipation. She had received an invitation to showcase her designs at the town's annual fair, a rare opportunity to share her artistry with a wider audience. Her heart raced at the thought. "This is my chance," she whispered to herself, her fingers trembling with excitement. Yet, as the day of the fair approached, doubts crept in. What if no one likes my work, she would think, her mind a storm of insecurities. She battled her fears, reminding herself that art is subjective and beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. With every evening spent crafting, she pushed through, channeling her insecurities into her designs. The morning of the fair dawned bright and clear. Clara woke up early, her heart filled with hope and a tinge of anxiety. She dressed carefully, slipping into a simple yet elegant dress of her own design. It was a soft lavender, adorned with delicate embroidery that reminded her of the lilacs blooming in her garden. As she set up her booth, the vibrant colors of her creations caught the eyes of passers-by. Slowly but surely, a small crowd began to gather, intrigued by the beauty of her work. Clara's heart swelled with pride. She stood tall, ready to share her passion with the world. But as the day unfolded, the familiar voices of her childhood tormentors echoed through the fair. "Look at her booth, who would want to wear those old-fashioned dresses?" One girl sneered, and laughter erupted around her. Clara's face flushed with embarrassment, and for a fleeting moment she questioned her worth. Then, a voice cut through the noise. "Excuse me." A tall, elegantly dressed woman stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. "I am interested in these pieces. They read exquisite." Clara's heart skipped a beat as she realized it was none other than Vivian Harrington, the CEO of Harrington Enterprises, one of the largest fashion brands in the country. Vivian approached Clara's booth with a discerning eye, admiring the craftsmanship. "Your attention to detail is remarkable. I can see the love in every stitch." Clara felt her spirits lift. There was something in Vivian's gaze that felt different, compassionate. "Thank you," Clara replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've poured my heart into each piece." With every word exchange, the air seemed to soften. The laughter of the girls faded into the background, replaced by the sound of possibility. Vivian studied the dresses, her brow furrowing in concentration. "I see so much potential here. Have you ever considered working with a team to expand your vision? You have a gift that deserves to be shared on a larger scale." Clara blinked in disbelief. "Me, work with a team? But I am just a small-town seamstress." Doubt threatened to creep in again like an unwelcome shadow. "Every great designer starts somewhere, Clara," Vivian said, her tone gentle yet firm. "The world needs your creativity. I believe in nurturing talent, and I would love to help you realize your dreams." A wave of hope washed over Clara. This was the opportunity she had yearned for, an escape from the confines of her small shop and the judgments that haunted her. But could she really trust this moment? The scars of her past still lingered. "Why me, though?" Clara asked, her voice trembling slightly. "There are so many others more experienced." "Sometimes it has the ones who have faced adversity that create the most beautiful art," Vivian replied. "Your journey is unique, and it deserves to be told. Let us collaborate and show the world what you can create." Clara's heart raced. What if she said yes? What if this was the break she had been waiting for? A mix of excitement and fear coursed through her. The laughter of the children echoed in her mind, a reminder of the bullying that had clouded her self-worth. Can I really do this? She thought, wrestling with her insecurities. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the fair, Clara took a deep breath. All right, I'll give it a shot. The words spilled out, and with them came a rush of relief and exhilaration. Vivian smiled warmly, her eyes shining with encouragement. Wonderful, let us set up a meeting to discuss your ideas and get this journey started. Clara felt like she was standing at the edge of a cliff, ready to leap into the unknown. As the fair came to a close, Clara packed away her unsold dresses, but her heart felt fuller than ever. No longer would she be defined by the whispers of others. She had embraced her passion and found a potential ally in Vivian. The journey ahead would be challenging, filled with risks, but Clara was committed to embracing whatever came next. In a world that had often felt isolating, she had found a glimmer of hope amid the shadows. With every step forward, Clara would weave her narrative, one stitch at a time, transforming pain into purpose. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would not only reshape her life, but also inspire countless others to rise above their own struggles. As Clara walked home, the stars began to twinkle in the dusky sky, each one a reminder of the beauty and resilience. She felt lighter, her heart unfurling like a blossom in spring. Through the pain, she had begun to find her voice, and with it, the strength to face whatever lay ahead. As the week unfolded after the fair, Clara felt a whirlwind of emotions, excitement, anxiety, and an unfamiliar sense of hope. She busied herself in her little shop, the familiar whir of her sewing machine offering solace. Each stitch now reminded her of the promise she had made to Vivian. Yet the memories of the children's laughter echoed relentlessly in her mind, and doubt occasionally seeped in, whispering reminders of her inadequacies. One afternoon, as she worked on a gown for an upcoming wedding, Clara received a call that made her heart skip. It was Vivian, inviting her for their first meeting. I can't wait to see what ideas you've been brewing, Clara, she said, her voice warm and encouraging. I am looking forward to it, Clara replied, her voice steadying as she spoke. I have a few sketches in mind. Perfect, let us meet at my office in the city. I'll send you the details. The conversation ended, but the excitement lingered, intertwining with a tinge of fear. Would her ideas be enough? As the day approached, Clara prepared meticulously. She spent hours sketching designs that blended her heritage with modern flair, pouring her heart into each pencil stroke. But as she looked at them, self-doubt crept in again. What if they were not good enough? She questioned, staring at the pages. That evening, she decided to visit the local library, seeking inspiration in the stories of other artists. The quiet atmosphere filled her with a sense of calm. She found herself drawn to a book about famous designers who faced skepticism but ultimately triumphed through perseverance. Clara flipped through the pages, absorbing the stories of resilience. Maybe I am not alone in this, she whispered to herself. She closed her eyes, imagining herself as one of those designers that the thought felt liberating. The day of the meeting dawned bright and clear, the sun's rays illuminating the world outside her window. Clara dressed in a new outfit, a simple yet elegant blouse she had sewn, and a flowing skirt that swirled with her movements. She felt a mix of nervousness and excitement as she made her way to the city. Vivian's office was a sleek, modern space filled with light. Clara's heart raced as she took a deep breath before entering. Vivian stood up, her smile warm and welcoming. Clara, you look fantastic. I am so glad you made it. Thank you, Clara replied, feeling a flicker of confidence. The office was buzzing with energy, and Clara could feel the heartbeat of creativity in the air. So, tell me about your designs, Vivian encouraged, gesturing for Clara to sit down. With trembling hands, Clara spread out her sketches on the table, each one a window into her dreams. This is a collection inspired by nature, she began, her voice steadying as she spoke. I wanted to capture the beauty of our town and the lilacs, the cobblestone streets, the essence of who I am. Vivian leaned in, studying each sketch intently. These are beautiful, Clara. I can see the thought and emotion behind each piece. What about this one? She pointed to a flowing gown adorned with lilac embroidery. Clara's heart soared. I envisioned it for spring weddings, a celebration of love and renewal, like the blooms that come alive after winter. I love it, Vivian said enthusiastically. She paused, her eyes glimmering with creativity. How about we focus on this theme and expand it? Let us create a collection that tells your story, a narrative woven into each dress. Clara's heart raced. You mean to launch a whole collection? Absolutely, Vivian replied. We'll need to gather a team to help with production, marketing, and showcasing your work, but let us take this step by step. Your voice deserves to be heard. As the meeting continued, Clara felt the weight of her past struggles begin to lift. With Vivian's encouragement, she started to envision the path ahead. It was daunting, yet exhilarating. By the end, they had outlined plans, timelines, and the beginnings of a collaboration that felt like a dream. "You've got this, Clara," Vivian said with a confident smile as they wrapped up. "This is just the beginning of something wonderful." Days turned into weeks as Clara immersed herself in the project. Each morning, she would rise with the sun's golden light spilling through her window, a renewed sense of purpose guiding her. The once lonely days in her shop transformed into a bustling atmosphere filled with creativity. Vivian connected Clara with talented individuals who understood her vision. The team included a vibrant marketing specialist named Maya, who infused energy into every brainstorming session, and a seasoned fashion designer, Edward, who guided Clara in refining her designs. Yet the challenges were relentless. Clara faced moments of self-doubt as the pressure mounted. "What if I disappoint everyone? What if I am not as talented as they think?" she would often ponder late at night, her mind a storm of insecurities. One evening, after a particularly tough meeting where Clara felt overwhelmed, she sat alone in her shop, staring at a half-finished gown. Tears brimmed her eyes as the memories of the bullies crept back in. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was Vivian. "Hey, Clara, just checking in. How are you holding up?" "I am struggling," Clara admitted, her voice shaky. "I feel like I am not enough." "Listen, every artist has moments of doubt. That's what makes you human. But remember, your journey is different. You're recreating something beautiful. Let that drive you." Clara wiped her tears, feeling the warmth of Vivian's words. "Thank you. I just need to keep believing in myself." "Exactly. And remember, I am here for you every step of the way. Let us meet and discuss how we can overcome these hurdles together." That conversation became a turning point for Clara. With renewed determination, she began to seek inspiration from her surroundings. She visited local florists, capturing the essence of blooms in her sketches. She traveled to nearby markets, gathering textures and colors that spoke to her heart. As the weeks passed, the collection began to take shape. Clara poured her soul into each piece, each dress telling the story of resilience and beauty. The launch day approached, and Clara's heart raced with anticipation and anxiety. The day of the unveiling arrived, and Clara stood before a crowd in a chic downtown venue. As she gazed at the guests mingling, her heart pounded. Among them were friends, family, and even those who once bullied her, their eyes now filled with curiosity. Vivian stepped up to the podium. "Welcome, everyone. Today, we celebrate not just fashion, but the spirit of resilience. Clara's journey is a testament to the beauty that emerges from struggle." Clara felt her breath hitch, her heart swelling as she watched Vivian speak. She felt seen, her story honored in that moment. As the models walked the runway, showcasing Clara's designs, she felt a wave of emotions wash over her. Each dress was a reflection of her journey of vibrant, bold, and beautifully imperfect. When she saw the lilac gown she had designed, tears of joy streamed down her cheeks. The applause was thunderous as the final model exited the stage, and Clara found herself standing there, enveloped in a mixture of disbelief and gratitude. It was a celebration not just of her designs, but of her spirit as an artist, a survivor, and a woman unyielded by her past. Afterward, people flocked to Clara, admiring her work and sharing their appreciation. Clara felt embraced by kindness, the warmth of acceptance wrapping around her like a comforting quilt. "Your collection was incredible," the woman exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "I'd love to buy a dress for my daughter's wedding." "Thank you, that means so much to me," Clara replied, her heart swelling. As she engaged with the guests, Clara spotted someone standing at the back, a familiar face. It was one of the girls from her past, the one who had once taunted her. Clara's heart raced as their eyes met. "Clara," the girl said, her voice hesitant. "I just wanted to say I am really sorry for how I treated you. I didn't understand the impact of my words back then." Clara felt a rush of emotions. "Thank you for saying that. It took time, but I've learned to embrace my journey." The girl nodded, tears glimmering in her eyes. "You've inspired me. I've seen how hard you've worked, and it is beautiful." In that moment, Clara realized the true power of her journey. It wasn't just her triumph, it was the ripple effect of resilience that inspired others to reflect on their actions and grow. As the night wound down, Clara found Vivian standing beside her, pride shining in her eyes. "You did it, Clara. This is just the beginning." "Yes, it is," Clara said, her heart brimming with gratitude. "I've learned that through every struggle, beauty can arise. I want to keep sharing that message through my work." Vivian nodded, her smile radiant. "And you will. Your story matters." As Clara looked around at the smiling faces, she felt a warmth in her heart. She had woven her story into each dress, and in doing so, she had transformed her pain into purpose. The journey ahead still held uncertainties, but as the echoes of applause faded and the guests began to disperse, Clara stood in the center of the venue, her heart a kaleidoscope of emotions. It had been a night of extraordinary significance, a moment that felt like a culmination of years spent battling insecurities, taunts, and fears. Clara watched the guests mingle, their laughter and chatter igniting a sense of warmth in her heart. She recalled her lonely days in the little shop, the mocking voices of the school children swarming her thoughts. She had transformed her pain into art, and now it was finally being recognized. "Clara," Vivian's voice broke through her reverie. "Can I borrow you for a moment?" "Of course," Clara replied, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. She followed Vivian to a quieter corner of the venue, where the noise faded into a soft murmur. "I want to talk about our next steps," Vivian began, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "This launch was just a glimpse of your potential. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. We need to consider a wider release." Clara felt her heart race. "A wider release, like selling in larger stores?" "Exactly." Vivian nodded eagerly. "We could even think about an online shop. Imagine the reach you could have, but we have to prepare, design new pieces, develop a marketing strategy, and build a robust online presence." Wow, it is a lot to take in." Clara's mind raced with possibilities, yet a familiar voice of doubt began to creep back in. "What if it is too much? What if people don't resonate with my designs again?" "Listen," Vivian said softly, placing a reassuring hand on Clara's shoulder. "You're more than capable. You've already shown that. You've faced down your fears and created something beautiful. Don't let that hold you back now." Clara took a deep breath, absorbing Vivian's words. "I want this. I really do. I just need to believe in myself." "You will," Vivian encouraged. "Let us start by setting small goals. We allow brainstorm ideas and outline our vision. Together, we allow make it happen." As they walked back toward the crowd, Clara felt a surge of determination. The thought of sharing her designs with an even broader audience ignited a fire within her. "I can do this," she whispered to herself, clenching her fists. The next few weeks became a whirlwind of creativity and organization. Clara and her team met regularly to brainstorm ideas for the upcoming collection. Maya, the marketing specialist, brought vibrant energy into the meetings, often suggesting out-of-the-box strategies. "Let us create a social media campaign that tells your story, Clara. We can showcase how your designs are influenced by personal experiences or journey of resilience," Maya proposed one day as they sat around a table littered with sketches and fabric swatches. "I like that idea. It's all about connection, right?" Clara replied, her eyes lighting up. "If people can see the heart behind each dress, they might understand the meaning." "Exactly." Maya beamed. "Let us think of hashtags that resonate with your audience, something like #stitchinghope or #wearyourjourney." As the ideas flowed, so did Clara's confidence. She immersed herself in the process, sketching new designs that captured the beauty of her experiences. Each evening, after long hours at the office, she returned to her shop, where her sewing machine hummed a familiar tune, a melody of hope. However, the path wasn't easy without obstacles. One late night, as Clara meticulously sewed the hem of a new dress, she received an email from a potential retailer expressing hesitance. "While we admire your designs, we think they might not appeal to a wider demographic," the message read. Clara felt her heart sink, the weight of doubt pressing against her chest. "Am I really not good enough?" she whispered, glancing at the unfinished gown before her. Just then, her phone buzzed. It was a text from Vivian. "Hey, Clara, just checking in. How's everything going? Remember, I am here for you." Clara hesitated before responding, her heart heavy with uncertainty. "Not great. I just received feedback from a retailer and it is discouraging. I am starting to wonder if I am cut out for this." "Don't let one opinion dictate your worth," Vivian replied almost instantly. "Every great artist faces criticism. It is part of the journey. Remember, your story matters. Trust in your art." Taking a deep breath, Clara felt a spark ignite within her. "You were right. I can't let this define me." The next day, Clara decided to venture into town, seeking inspiration from the very streets that had once held her back. As she walked, she noticed the little things, the way the sunlight danced on cobblestones, the vibrant murals that adorned the walls, and the laughter of children playing in the park. Suddenly, she came across her old shop, its windows filled with remnants of her past. A wave of nostalgia washed over her, but instead of sadness, she felt gratitude. "I've come so far," she whispered, smiling at the reflection in the glass. That evening, she returned to her sewing machine, her heart filled with renewed determination. I'll create something beautiful, she promised herself. I'll pour everything I've learned into this collection. Weeks passed, and Clara poured her heart into her designs, blending her past experiences with fresh ideas. Her team rallied around her, their belief in her burgeoning talent lighting the way during moments of doubt. Finally, the day arrived for Clara to present her new collection to Vivian and the team. Clara stood before them, her hands trembling slightly. I've created pieces that reflect my journey. Each one has a story, just like the last collection, but with a new perspective. As she unveiled the designs, she felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. The room filled with silence as the team absorbed her creations. This one, Clara pointed to a gown adorned with delicate floral embroidery, is inspired by the lilacs in my garden, symbolizing hope and renewal. Vivian leaned closer, her expression thoughtful. These are stunning, Clara. You've truly captured your essence in these pieces. The designs feel mature yet rooted in who you are. Clara's heart soared, and as they continued discussing the collection, she could feel her insecurities melting away. They agreed on a launch date, and Clara left the meeting feeling invigorated, the weight of doubt replaced by anticipation. As the launch approached, Clara began to see her vision come to life. The designs were polished, the social media campaigns were set, and the team was ready to showcase her journey to the world. Yet, just as Clara's excitement peaked, a shadow of fear crept in. What if no one comes? What if they don't like my designs? She confessed to Vivian one evening over coffee. You've already overcome so much. This is your moment to shine. Clara, trust the process, Vivian encouraged, her voice steady. People are drawn to authenticity. Your journey will resonate. And so, the day of the launch arrived, bright and beautiful. Clara stood backstage, her heart pounding in rhythm with the applause echoing from the audience. She took a deep breath, her mind swirling with memories of her past, the bullying, the loneliness, the moments of doubt. As she stepped onto the stage, the spotlight illuminated her face and she felt the warmth of the crowd's energy. Thank you all for being here today, she began, her voice steady. This collection is a reflection of my journey, a story of resilience, hope, and beauty. The audience watched intently as models strutted down the runway adorned in Clara's creations. Each piece told a story, and Clara felt tears welling in her eyes as she witnessed her dreams taking flight. When the last model exited, the applause thundered, shaking Clara to her core. She stood in disbelief, her heart full to bursting. Suddenly, Vivian appeared beside her, pulling her into a warm embrace. You did it, Clara. You've woven your journey into something extraordinary. Clara felt the wave of love and support wash over her. I couldn't have done it without you, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. As the event concluded, Clara was swarmed by guests eager to share their appreciation. Your designs are breathtaking. I feel a connection to your story, one woman exclaimed, her eyes shining with admiration. Amid the crowd, Clara spotted the girl who had once bullied her. She approached timidly, her eyes filled with remorse. Clara, I've seen your journey, and I am truly sorry for how I treated you. You've inspired me to rethink how I see others. Clara's heart swelled with compassion. Thank you for saying that. It takes courage to acknowledge our past mistakes. I believe we can all grow. In that moment, Clara realized that her journey was not just her own. It had become a source of inspiration for others, a ripple effect of resilience. As the night wore on, Clara felt a sense of fulfillment that transcended her earlier fears. She had transformed her struggles into a powerful narrative that resonated deeply with those around her. As she looked towards the future, Clara knew she would continue to weave her story through her art. With each stitch, she would celebrate the beauty of resilience, reminding herself and others that even in the darkest moments, hope could lead to something extraordinary. Days turned to weeks as Clara navigated the whirlwind of post-launch activities, each moment filled with the vibrant energy of her new journey. The world outside her quaint little shop buzzed with life, and Clara felt invigorated by the possibilities that lay ahead. Yet, with each passing day, the weight of expectation began to tug at her heart. One morning, as sunlight danced through her window, Clara brewed her morning tea, allowing the warmth of the cup to seep into her hands. She gazed at a framed photo of her past collection displayed on the wall, a reminder of the journey she had undertaken. This is just the beginning, she whispered to herself, but a flicker of doubt nagged at her. Can I really keep this momentum going? The ringing of her phone interrupted her thoughts. It was Vivian. Clara, we need to talk about our next marketing strategy, she said, her tone upbeat. I am really excited about how we can elevate your brand. Clara's heart raced. Of course, Vivian, I want to keep the momentum going, too. I hope I can live up to the expectations. Listen, Vivian said, her voice reassuring. You have already exceeded so many expectations. Your designs have touched people's hearts. Just focus on staying true to your vision. Clara took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of Vivian's encouragement. Yuri White, I'll do my best. That afternoon, Clara sat in a cafe, sketching ideas while listening to the sounds of the bustling city around her. She felt a sense of calm wash over her as she poured her heart onto the pages. But as she flipped through her sketches, a gnawing word crept back in. What if my next designs aren't as good? What if I can't meet the demand? Just then, a little girl, no more than 8, approached her table, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. Are you a real artist? She asked, her voice bright. Clara looked up, surprised. I guess I am, she replied, smiling. I saw your dresses at the launch. They were so pretty, the girl exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. I want to be an artist like you when I grow up. Clara felt a warmth bloom in her chest. You can be anything you want, you know. Just keep chasing your dreams. The little girl grinned, her innocent belief rekindling Clara's own fire. I will. Can I get a picture with you? She asked, bouncing on her toes. Of course. Clara laughed, and together they posed for a photo. As the girl skipped away, Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose. I am not just designing dresses, she thought. I am inspiring others. Back at her shop, Clara and her team gathered for their weekly brainstorming session. The atmosphere was electric with ideas. Maya presented some captivating concepts for their upcoming social media campaign, while Edward provided valuable insights on the latest fashion trends. Let us do a behind-the-scenes series, Maya suggested, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. We can show your creative process, Clara. People love authenticity. Clara felt the excitement ripple through the room. Yes, we can show the ups and downs, the struggles and victories. That's all part of the journey. As they discussed ideas, Clara's passion ignited. Together, they crafted plans to share her story authentically, highlighting not just her designs, but her journey from being a bullied seamstress to a rising fashion designer. However, even as Clara felt the thrill of new possibilities, the shadow of doubt loomed large. One night, sitting alone in her shop, she couldn't shake the anxiety that gripped her. What if the world forgets about me? What if my designs don't resonate anymore? Just then, her phone chimed with a message from Vivian. Hey Clara, remember, you're on a journey, not a race. Take it one step at a time. You've got this. The warmth of those words wrapped around Clara like a comforting blanket. She took a deep breath, reminding herself that she had already overcome so much. I won't let fear dictate my path, she resolved. The weeks rolled on, and Clara found herself immersed in a creative whirlwind, the energy from her team fueling her passion. As the social media campaign kicked off, Clara began sharing snippets of her story, the trials, the triumphs, and the passion that drove her craft. With each post, Clara felt more connected to her audience. Messages poured in from people who had been touched by her journey. I've faced bullying too, and your story inspires me, one message read. Others shared their own battles and aspirations, and Clara found solace in the community that was forming around her. One evening, while reviewing comments on her latest post, Clara noticed a particularly heartfelt message. Your designs made me feel beautiful again after losing my confidence. Thank you for sharing your story. Tears welled in Clara's eyes as she read the words. This is why I do this, she thought, the weight of her journey feeling lighter. It's about connection, about healing. As the campaign continued, Clara received an invitation to showcase her collection at a larger fashion event in the city. The thought filled her with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. This is a huge opportunity, she thought, her heart racing. But what if I don't measure up? That evening, she gathered her team, sharing the exciting news. Have you been invited to the city fashion showcase? But I am terrified. What if I let everyone down? Vivian leaned in, her expression earnest. Clara, this is an incredible opportunity. Remember, you've come so far. Each time you've faced fear, you've emerged stronger. Edward added, you have a unique voice, Clara. People want to hear your story through your designs. Don't overthink it. Just be yourself. Clara nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude for her supportive team. You're right, I can do this. In the weeks leading up to the showcase, Clara worked tirelessly, pouring her heart into the new pieces. Each gown was infused with emotion, telling stories of resilience and hope. Yet as the big day approached, Clara felt the familiar weight of anxiety creeping back in. The morning of the showcase dawned, and Clara woke up to a fierce storm, the rain pounding against her window. Doubt flooded her mind as she dressed. What if no one comes? What if the event is a disaster? But as she stood before the mirror, she caught sight of her reflection, the woman who had fought through bullying and fear, who had transformed her pain into art. "I am more than my doubts," she whispered to herself. "I am a storyteller." Arriving at the venue, Clara felt a rush of anticipation mixed with anxiety as she stepped onto the stage, the audience a sea of faces. Her heart raced, pounding in sync with the rhythm of her fears. But she took a deep breath, remembering the little girl who had inspired her, the messages of kindness she had received. As Clara began to speak, she felt the warmth of the audience envelop her. "Thank you for being here. I want to share my journey with you, the struggles and the triumphs that have shaped my art." With every word, Clara felt herself connecting with the audience, their eyes reflecting the understanding of shared experiences. Fashion is not just about clothes, it's about stories, hope, and resilience. As models strode down the runway in her designs, Clara watched with awe, tears streaming down her cheeks. The gowns sparkled under the lights, each piece carrying the echoes of her journey. The applause that followed felt like a resounding affirmation of her worth. After the show, Clara was flooded with compliments and admiration from guests and fellow designers alike. "Your collection is stunning," one woman exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. It resonated deeply. Clara felt an overwhelming sense of joy, the kind that filled her heart with hope. "Thank you so much, this means the world to me," she replied, her voice brimming with gratitude. With the event winding down, Clara felt a tap on her shoulder. Turning around, she found herself face to face with one of the girls from her past, the one who had bullied her. Clara's heart raced, memories flooding her mind. "Clara," the girl said, her voice trembling. "I just wanted to say how sorry I am for how I treated you. Seeing you up there tonight filled me with admiration. You've inspired me to reflect and grow." For a moment, Clara was taken aback, but then she felt warmth spread through her heart. "Thank you for sharing that. It takes courage to acknowledge our past, and I appreciate your honesty." As the girl walked away, Clara realized the true power of her journey. It wasn't just about her triumph, it was about the ripple effect of resilience that inspired others to reflect on their actions and grow. As the night came to a close, Clara found Vivian waiting for her. "You are incredible tonight. You've captured hearts, Clara." "I couldn't have done this without your support," Clara replied, her voice thick with emotion. The weight of her fears felt lighter now, replaced by a sense of belonging. "We have so much to look forward to," Vivian said, her excitement palpable. "Your journey is just beginning, Clara." As Clara left the venue, the rain had stopped and the stars twinkled in the clear night sky. She felt a sense of